What's up guys, Tony Hannity's here from Lazy Tech TV, and I know you're anxiously awaiting my full review of the Pixel XL from Google, and that is coming very soon. In the meantime, I want to talk to you guys about 5 features of the Pixel and the Pixel XL that are either very good or very bad. These are the 5 bad features of the Pixel and Pixel XL. The Pixel Launcher. The Pixel Launcher is not consistent. You've got icons that are either circles, icons that are triangles or square. It's just not consistent. They look very weird on the home screen. And when you look at the home screen itself, it looks too much like iOS. I mean, there's no app drawer button. You have to swipe up, and sometimes when you swipe up, you might accidentally hit one of the applications in the favorite bar and then it opens up that application. What was wrong with the app drawer button? It worked fine before. And that top bar between the G tab and the weather, I don't need the weather. I can just ask Google the weather. That's the whole point of Google Assistant, just to ask it, just to talk to the phone even with the screen off. This seems redundant to me. Waterproofing. This phone doesn't have waterproofing. It's IP53. Really? The iPhone 7, the Galaxy S7, even when the Galaxy Note 7, there's so many phones that are flagship phones now that are at least water resistant. IP53 means that droplets of rain are okay, but taking it to things like raging water, having a great time with your kids, I can't take family photos when I'm in the lazy river with this. Google said they didn't have enough time to add water resistant or waterproofing to the Pixel, but in my opinion, you had plenty of time. You had over a year. I know how you guys work. You don't just plan 6 months in advance before the launch of a phone. Once this phone is launched, you're already planning on the next phone. So you can't tell me when the Nexus 6P was launched a year ago that you weren't thinking this far ahead and you couldn't add waterproofing at some point down that line. The camera. In this day and age, you need Pro mode. You need manual mode. You need to be able to access the shutter speed. You need to be able to access the ISO. All of these things as a prosumer on a $800/$900 device, you have to have not root access, but base access to these functionalities without having to download a third-party camera application like Manual Camera. Earlier today, I was taking video and photos with the front-facing camera, and in low light, it was still really spotty. How are you supposed to add all these amazing, quote-unquote, functionalities to the rear camera, but when it comes to the front-facing camera, the camera that matters most in this day and age of Snapchat and Instagram stories and things like that, it looks spotty, it looks terrible in low light, and it's still really shaky. You know what would fix that shakiness? OAS. Oh wait, you didn't add it. The design. It's too simple. It's too simple. It's too generic. It's a metal, plastic, aluminum, glass piece of slab. There's nothing special about this. In all honesty, many times I brought this out of my pocket and someone said, "Oh, is that a new iPhone?" Come on, people. Really? A new iPhone? This is the Pixel. This is Google's first implementation wherein that they have their actual hardware that they design inside and out, and I want to be proud of it, but I can't because too many people are asking me if this is the new iPhone. The iPhone is the iPhone. Google needed to create a design where at a moment's notice you can say that's a Pixel, like the Nextbit Robin. That's a Robin. You know that's a Robin because of the color, the design, inside and out. There are 3 colors that you can choose from with the Pixel and the Pixel XL, but really, there's only one you should choose. And that limits the possibility of all the phones that could be out there. The black one is the ultimate Pixel or Pixel XL choice because look at what happens if you choose a silver one. Black on a white face gives this huge bezel, and it's so iPhone-like. And it's not just that. Because there's no home button down here at the bottom, there's this giant chin, and it just looks terrible. And in addition to that, if you get the white face one, this giant proximity sensor is just screaming back at you. Why is it so big? Why do you have to have this? Is it the adaptive screen brightness. Let me just turn that off. There's so many other manufacturers out there that offer something similar to adaptive screen brightness, and they don't have a giant proximity sensor right there in the front. This is just terrible. Lastly, Google Assistant. It's just bad. It's not consistent. It's two things. You have Google Assistant as the voice thing to compete against Siri and Cortana, and then you have the replacement to Google Now on tap. So if you hold down the home button, it can take a screenshot of whatever it is that you're looking at and try and look up relatable material to that page. So if it's pictures of the Monte Carlo, maybe Google Now on tap or Google Assistant. Well, I mean, but at the same time, you can just speak to it and say, tell me more about the Monte Carlo. And then what makes things worse though, it'll give you information about the Monte Carlo, and then you go to your computer and you want to continue that relationship between you and Google and the Google Assistant, and you ask Google Now on the computer a follow-up question. When was it built? When was the casino built? Or whatever it is related to Monte Carlo. And the computer doesn't know what you're talking about. But the computer is Google. Google should know. I just asked it a question on this device. And to make matters worse, Google doesn't know I asked it a question when I used it on Google Assistant versus using it on the Google Now page. I'll ask it a question like, who do the Chicago Bulls play? And it'll tell me. And then for whatever reason, I might go to the Google Now page and ask a follow-up question. Who won? Google Now doesn't know what I'm talking about. And Google Assistant has been relegated to Pixel devices only. So if I pick up the next Samsung device or the next LG device, the V20, I'm not going to get Google Assistant. Why? It's just an app. Make it part of the launcher. Hell, make the launcher readily available to non-Pixel devices. If you want an experience across the whole of Android where people can be ingratiated into Google as an ecosystem, you need them to get into Google Assistant. You want people to buy the Google Home or buy Google Wi-Fi, you have to get people used to Google Assistant. And if you're only getting people used to Google Assistant with the Pixel and the Pixel launcher, I mean, you already know, generally speaking, those are already your hardcore users. So those are the top 5 things that are wrong with the Pixel and Pixel XL. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, I want them all. Leave them in the section below. Make sure you're following us here on YouTube. Thumbs up this video, like this channel. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.